is upon us. We're getting ready to go ahead and get on into this whole thing. We got Germ So True in the building alongside the guru Jorge himself. We got Trav stopping by, 94 feet of life. We already know basketball for the people, by the people. We got Cat 5 in the backgrounds. We got Ty in the backgrounds. Ty Through is in the building, even though Ty is about through. So with that being said, let's start at the top. Jorge, what's going on, man?
What's up, everybody? Happy to be back again. Talk baseball. We got a week baseball underneath our belts. Uh, Interested to see what these guys want to talk about. Happy baseball is back. Let's get a full season in.
And Trav, man, what's going on, man? How's everything going, man?
Everything's good, man. You know how it is, man. Beginning of baseball, man. Everybody's excited. Everybody going crazy over the first 5 games. Their actions, the overreactions. You know how it is, man. Just typical baseball, man. Let's get it going.
And of course, we got our guy Ty Through in the background. Ty, come off mute for a second right here. I'll let the folks.
Yeah, so I'm happy opening day weekend is over because I can transition from the theme of being opening day weekend to the real theme of the quest for the Dodgers repeating. So that's all that matters. That's all we should talk about. Just kidding, just kidding. But no, I mean, it's great to have the sport back. It's great that we'll have a full season. Y'all don't get to see my pretty face on camera, but y'all get to hear my beautiful voice. I'm going to try my best Teddy P impersonation today for y'all.
Oh, your pretty face, huh? Oh, okay. Well, just so you know, the skipper is back. And I want y'all to know that you about to be out of here with all of that nonsense. Now, that being said, hey man, opening week, we had some great opening week games. Let's start at the top. Jorge, I was really thoroughly impressed with a few teams. I'm gonna start in the AL. This week, I was impressed with the Angels, and I mean, not to be the bearer of bad news, but I also been impressed with the Stros. You know, we just some hitting son of a guns. You know, we just come out and do the thing. Why I'm impressed by the Angels? That lineup is hitting, and everybody is contributing right now. It looks really, really good on paper. They also have some very intriguing players. They got the best player in the game, Mr. Trout himself. I think he's currently hitting like 368, something like that, something crazy. He's getting in, he's getting runs, he's doing everything out there. So Jorge, what are your thoughts on the Angels? And then give a couple of your teams that you've liked in the NAL so far.
Yeah, you hit it the nail on the head, man. You can't go wrong with Trout, the best player in the game right now. You know, he's that for a reason. I told you guys the X factor in that lineup and that team is Ohtani, and look at what he did in that one game where he pitched and he also hit a home run. First pitcher since 1972, I believe, that has had a hit in the AL because they went to DH over there, and then the first pitcher to hit a home run in the AL since early 1900s or something like that. He's Ohtani is doing this thing. Ohtani is doing this thing, and if he continues and he helps Trout, like I said, man, last show, they may win the division. I mean, it's a week and it's early, but if he keeps it up, hopefully the injury that he sustained there at the end of in the third or fourth inning, whatever it was, fourth or fifth inning, hopefully it doesn't prolong it, and hopefully the ankle injury doesn't bother him for him to be on the hill. As far as the AL goes, man.
Oh, he came back, by the way, not to cut you off. He came back in the game against the Stros.
Oh, did he?
They ended up, yeah, he actually came in and did a pinch hit at bat.
Oh, okay. So he seems to be okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
The only pitch hitting and being on the mound and putting a lot of pressure on your ankles is a little different. So pushing off and setting on your ankle when you land on your ankle, it's a little different. So hopefully he's able to pitch again. DH, that shouldn't be an issue. As far as the AL goes, as far as my team, how about the Minnesota Twins, man? 4-2 right now, sitting on top of the AL Central, looking not too bad. And then another team I actually like, and I'm interested in seeing if they keep up doing what they're doing. How about both the Orioles and the Toronto Blue Jays? You know, the Orioles aren't looking that bad. The Orioles are 3-2 right now, sitting about looking like they're gonna beat the Yankees today. They're beating them 2-1 right now. So Vic, where you at?
At home doing something stupid. But that being said, Trav, jump in here. Do you have any team that you would like to add to the forefront with us?
Ooh, shout out to the Phillies. They best. You got one of the sluggers there. You paid him enough money to do what he's doing, and that whole lineup is they doing their thing, man. I mean, pitching ain't the best, but they getting runs on the board and they getting them on there early, and that's what they doing. Toronto and the AL, they trying to hold up. They trying to do it, but I mean, it's early. It's early, but those are the two surprising teams that I've seen. That's like, whoa, like, okay, I wasn't expecting this, but it's early, and we got a lot more baseball left, so we'll see.
So to kind of counter what you said with the Phillies, Trev, I saw an interesting stat that I didn't even know about, and going back to last year, the Phillies against the AL East, they're in the last 15 games, they're 13-1. That's crazy at home. Yeah, so they're good at home, against the AL East. So let's see what they do on the road.
Mm-hmm. And and a lot of their last 6 games have been at home.
Mm-hmm.
So today, I actually watched some games today. So the thing with the Phillies is, I think the Mets have just not been good outside of their good guys. Like they had an opportunity to put some runs on the board, and they had the top 3, the bottom of the lineup come up. So they get a guy, they bunt, they get a guy out. First they get a guy out, then they get a guy on. They bunt and put a guy over. He's on second base. So we get our second and our third, which is Lindor, and then what's the other guy's name?
Alonso.
I think it was Alonso. But when Lindor comes up, he already has 2 on. Lindor is looking like he's going to be able to make some contact. He has a pitch that he pulls a little bit far to the right. And what happens is he ends up getting hit by a pitch.
Mm-hmm.
So they have bases loaded with 2 outs. Bases loaded with 2 outs, and then we get the fourth. We get the other guy to come up with the third guy in our lineup, who should be our best hitter, and he comes up and basically gets called out looking.
It was actually Conforto batting third. Sorry, today.
Conforto. That really made me upset because you have to understand that in that situation, with the way the game is being called so far this season, you have to protect yourself at all times. So I was disappointed with that sequence, especially seeing that every hitter before that did the right thing. That is really, really important here at this stage of the season. And then the next inning, ironically, we get a guy who hits a double. Then we come back from the double. We get another guy who bunts down the first baseline. And then Real Moto on the first pitch goes out yard. Shouts out to my catcher, too. So I'm just looking like, yo, that's crazy.
So the Mets left 16 runners on today. 16. Again, we're going back to what we were saying last year. So that's a lot of runners, man. Can't be doing that.
And before that, they showed a stat that they were 1 of 9 with runners in scoring position. And I'm just like, what? So you're gonna keep on leaving them on base. It doesn't matter who you have in the lineup. That's on everybody in the lineup. And then you got guys like DeGrom who go out here and pitch good games, give you 6 solid innings, and then you get guys that come in. He left with a lead, and then they lose the game, and then everybody says, well, DeGrom is a top 5 pitcher.
Hopefully it's not a trend that the Mets doing as far as leaving batters on here on base. Again, it is early. I mean, but we seeing this stuff early. Hopefully they can get through that funk. But right now, everything we're saying is kind of coming to fruition right now because of the simple fact that they just not capitalizing when runners are in scoring position.
Absolutely. So let's go to the next conference. We started with the Phillies in the NL. Hold on, sir. Slow down. We're gonna come to the NL because I
No,
know
it's
you
not about-
thirsty.
No, I got some stuff to say about the AL. I heard a take from Guru. I got to challenge him on just a little bit because
Okay, go
there's
ahead.
one team. There's one team that deserves a shout out, and if they do what I think they're about to do this next series, then I will look like a genius. First, of course,
Oh, it's a
no
selfish
dis-
reason why he won't see it. Okay, got you.
always I'm all about me because there's a huge presence I bring to the table. So everybody loves the time through. So don't hate, just appreciate. But anyway, of course, the Angels are the biggest surprise. You can't dispute that. They beat the White Sox, who I thought, were going to come out and at least make a statement. And the Angels instead made that statement. So shout out to the Halos. But the surprise team in the AL, I think that we should watch based on the first couple of games that happened with the Orioles are the Red Sox. JD Martinez is looking, like a beast right now, like he's on a tear. And besides the third game where the Orioles actually stomped on them, like the games are pretty close. But the reason why I want to shout out the Red Sox is because even though the Rays are not the same Rays that they were last season, man, was that a butt whooping. And the Red Sox began their home opener against the Orioles, so I think they will get some revenge and stomp on Guru's Orioles. So did anybody have the Red Sox being a 500 team right now this early? Probably
Sure.
not. Is it
Sure.
early? Yes.
It's early.
Talk to
but
me. Talk to me in 26 games.
Hey, like I said, it's just a lot of baseball right now. It's a lot of 166 regular season games.
162.
62, 66. It's 60 something. We got a lot of baseball now.
I just say if you're gonna give a team flowers, give a team flowers. Give all the flowers out. So we're gonna give flowers to the Angels for what they've done in the first couple of games. You got to give some flowers to the Red Sox too, or at least you can give the flowers to the Red Sox as well.
So we're giving flowers to the Red Sox for beating the teams that they have. The only loss of the Astros, which I haven't even talked about yet, is to the Angels, and that's because they blew the game. But we're just gonna let that go. We're gonna let it go. I
My
mean,
pettiness will not allow me to state your Germstros because they're the Germstros, and I just can't do it. I won't do it.
tier. Oh, it's okay. So NL. So we're gonna come to you first, Ty, because that's where I wanted to get you in the NL. Give me some teams in the NL that you are very, very excited about and that you have been impressed with thus far.
Excited, of course, and impressed so far was the Phillies. I think in our show, I may have chosen them as third, if I'm correct, as far as in the NL East. Play back the tape if you want to, quote me on that. So I didn't expect them to be, where they're at right now with only losing one game. That's pretty impressive. And then I didn't want to say it, but I'm going to say it only because Storms is a brother from another mother. And shout out to Mr. West. The Reds are what? 5-1? The Reds? They actually look like, a solid team right now. How? But, it's still early in the season. Teams got to play each other and fill each other out. And let's not, be excited for beating the Pirates just yet. But come on, they put up 11 runs. So that means, they're actually trying to work on their bats. So if they can actually keep that consistently going all season long, who knows? Maybe they'll give the Cardinals a run for their money. But I doubt it because, like I said, it's still early in the season. But I'm giving out flowers Flowers all around except for the germ stros. Who cares?
Well, that means your Dodgers definitely don't deserve nothing. So don't worry, the Stros gonna take down the Dodgers if they even get there. So with that being said, I'm gonna actually be one of the people who are gonna be unbiased on the show. And I'm gonna give the Dodgers a little bit of recognition here on our program today because the Dodgers have done a very good job of holding serve. The rotation is what we thought it was going to be so far. Let's see if they can continue that. The most important part for the Dodgers is going to be the finish. I don't care what anybody says. The regular season for the Dodgers, you just need to make it through healthy because I don't want any excuses come postseason time. Whether you finish as the number 1 or number 4 team, it doesn't really matter. You have the biggest payroll in baseball, not to mention if they're not the biggest, they're second, I think. If they're number 1 or number 2, but they have one of the biggest payrolls in baseball to combat with the fact that they have the best starting rotation in the majors, all around AL and NL. You have no excuse not to be where you are and be back in the big game this at the end of this season. Jorge, we want to bring you back in. When we bring you back in here, any NL teams that you've been really looking at this so far? Besides the Phillies and, obviously the Dodgers? You're on mute.
My bad. I'm not even gonna beat around the bush, man. The Reds have looked really good, and from what I've seen and who they played and how they're dominating their teams, right now they're looking like the best team in baseball. And it's honestly, they look really good. I mean, can they hold it for 162 games? I'm not sure. I mean, we know they have the pitching to do it, but how about shout out to Castellanos, man. Not only was he, he was standing over and flexing over a Cardinals pitcher, but he's hitting the cover off the ball, man. He's hit 4 home runs so far. I think he scored like 9 runs, and then also shout out to Jonathan India. Has 10 RBIs for them. We were saying and we were talking about the Reds having pitching, but they need some batters, and it looks like right now that's what they're doing. They're beating teams. They're beating teams by putting up some runs. 9 runs a game. 9 runs. They scored 9 to 6 in the second game of the season against the Cardinals. Then 12-1, and then they beat the Padres the last 2 games by a combination of 25-5. That's in 2 games. That's a lot of runs. So watch out for the Reds. It looks like they may be putting up runs.
Shouts out to Category 5 in the background. 57 runs scored so far for the Reds. That's crazy. I mean, it's only been 6 games. I mean, that's almost 10 runs a game. So Trav, any other team in the NL, or we ready to move on?
We can move on.
Oh, no shout out to the Braves. Cool. Keep moving.
So
here's the thing: we're 2-4 right now. We are who we are at this point of playing baseball. We're starting off late as usual. They tend to do this. They tend to get runs like in the middle instead of starting out getting some in the first and second, and probably getting some in the 5th and 6th, closing it out. But we actually done that today in the 2 wins that we earned in a double hitter against the Nets. So I'm very proud of my guys right now. That is a start. Good thing we'll go back home, get a little bit of home cooking, and we can start our run from there. So, hey, I mean, at least New York is 1-2 right now. So I'm happy still. So let's go.
So Jorge, what's the next on the agenda?
I want to shout out how about some pitching and also some stellar pitching and some stellar hitting. First off on my list, I want to shout out to Zach Greinke, man. This guy, 18th year in the league, and in these 2 games he has 13 innings pitched. First game against the actual Athletics, he allowed 3 hits, striking out 4, walking none, and 6 scoreless innings. And then today he actually he's pitched 7 innings and he allowed 5 hits while walking 1 and allowed 4 runs, but still, I mean, he got a no decision today. Excuse me, allowed 2 runs, and the only 2 runs he allowed was to guess who? Trout, a 2-run home run in the first inning. You know what I mean? And he shut them down basically for 6 more innings. So shout out to Greinke, man. He pitched 13 innings and 2 starts and has a 1.38 ERA while having 8 Ks and only 1 walk. He's 37 years old and pitching like he's 22.
I'm gonna be honest, man. I gave my flowers to the Dodgers already for their rotation, but let's not sleep on this Padres rotation that has already shown some promise already for them this year. And I'm gonna tell y'all something that's gonna really blow your mind. I think the Angels have a shot if they can figure out this thing with Ohtani to make some really big noise this season.
Yep.
I've been impressed what I've seen so far from the Angels. I mean, the Stros, not to even be funny, the Stros are a different beast because they have so many people in that lineup. That's just a hard lineup to pitch around. But, man, I was really impressed with what they did against the White Sox in that entire series. We watched the entire series almost together, too. And we were really impressed with them being able to score late with everybody, you know, with BJ Upton, not BJ. If it's not BJ, it's Upton. Well, we'll just say BJ Upton for now. If that's not, I don't think that's his name. But Upton has some great at-bats. I'm talking great at-bats. And then in the third game, he got a 2-run homer from having all those great at-bats, making good contact. And me and Category 5 sat down and actually watched it. And we seen a lot of other things, you know, just from that team in general. I'm here for this Angels team this season. I hope that they continue to build on this. I hope it's not just a beginning of the year thing. You know what I mean? Because they got some good pieces. I like this roster.
Yeah, and it's Justin Upton.
Justin, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Justin's starting to look a little bit more like BJ. You know, maybe that's a good thing. You know,
it is. We were watching that game. I think it was Saturday, and me and you kept going back and forth that he had the best plate appearances in the game. All 3 of them. He drew a walk, and I think one of them he got a single for an RBI, and the other I think it was a double, which drove in another run. So
single right up the middle that drove in a Trout from second base or something like that. It's just it was really some excellent at bats. So tie through. What let's give me a sleeper team besides the Red Sox, because I don't know what you're doing with that. I don't know what you're doing with that.
Like I said, it's possible. But before I go to my sleeper team, I wanted to give a shout out to continue the pitching thing here. I think it's a name that deserves some recognition because of the teams he's faced. If we're going to give the Angels flowers, let's give Dylan Bundy his credit. 2 games, one against the White Sox, the other against the Stros, right? And he put up 6 Ks and 10. His ERA is not like glamorous, but like against those teams, like that's pretty good. So I just wanted to give him a shout out. But as we transition to the sleeper teams here, are we talking just for AL? Are we talking NL? What are we talking? Or just overall?
Overall.
It's too early, but what if, and I'm just saying, what if sleeper-wise, in the National League, that sleeper team turns out to actually be, I would say, maybe the Brewers?
I would have to believe that. I would have to see that to believe it. I don't think they're going to be consistent. I think consistency is going to be a big issue for them. Nothing about that lineup is consistent, and nothing about that pitching staff is consistent. And that's going to be the biggest hurdle for them.
I say this because, first of all, I'm looking at the whole picture overall, looking at that division. No one's expecting greatness out of that division. We're already surprised with the Reds. The Cardinals are just the Cardinals. But what if the Brewers made things interesting and we get one hell of a race and one hell of a baseball season from the NL Central? Because right now the East doesn't look too good. They need to wake up. The West is what it is. So I think, there's a chance that as far as making things exciting and we didn't expect anything from them, they could be that team. Of course, the Angels look like it right now, but like I said, I'd be surprised if the Brewers actually just stuck in there based on the first couple of games right now, and they're 500, I believe.
Let's see. Let's keep an eye on them and your Red Sox, and we'll talk about that later.
As far as what he said, not expecting anything out of anybody. How about the kid from the White Sox, Yermin Mercedes, man? Have you guys seen what he's doing over there? He's got 23 at bats, 13 hits. He's hitting .565 with 6 RBIs.
Yeah, but you know what? We kind of broke down some of his at bats too, and some of his at bats to me are not as impressive as the batting average says.
Mm-hmm.
I see some things. I see some inconsistencies there, and me and Cat 5 had to talk about that. 5, if you have anything that you would like to say on this matter, then feel free to step in here at any moment. But I do think overall, I think he has some potential to be a better hitter than what he is now. I just think overall what he's done so far is not as impressive, and I think he's going to come back to life. And he may not finish the season as a 300 hitter. He may finish as a 265, 275 guy because that's what he's been showing on some of his at-bats.
Well, this also goes back to, let's say, a football reference. There's not much film on him as far as Major League goes. You know what I mean? So the pitchers are getting a feel for him. Once there's tape out and they know what his weakness is, so trust me, they're going to attack that weakness and he's not going to know how to hit it. He's going to have to adjust to the pitchers then. Right now, the pitchers are adjusting to him.
Right. So those are things that we'll be looking out for. Trav, is there any team or any players that you want to shout out or give any love to? No. You got that big old Met suck in the background there. So I mean, hey,
Do it.
just can't do it.
This guy.
So, Guru, we got another interesting, a little interesting question here.
Yeah.
So we got some of the so far as we said, we've had some pretty good games and things of that nature. As we go, because the first power rankings from the dish will be after about 26, 27 games ish. First stretch of the season, we'll call it. That'll be about the sixth point of the season because I've broken the season up into thirds, 54. That's how I did it. But as we get ready to look into power rankings, let's disclose to the people how we put together our power rankings so people understand it. And Ty, please be off mute for this. The number one thing we look for when we're putting together a power ranking is you got to be winning. You can't be losing. Yeah. Being a team that's a winning team, you got to be over 500, around 500 something. You can't just be in the power rankings just to be in the power rankings. That's just not. Just because we think you're going to be good later in the season doesn't constitute you being in the power rankings at that moment because that's who's hot right now. Jorge, I'm going to let you step in, then I'm going to go to Ty for another point.
Yeah, that's a good point because there was a lot of times during the season last year to where we took people off of the top 10 because of the week that they had, and they barely just snuck into the top 10. So for us, we take in consideration not only who's winning, but who are you winning against? Remember, we had a lot of those conversations to where, okay, yeah, the White Sox are a good team, but who are they winning against? And can we really put them, higher than 2 or higher than 3? And that conversation we had that conversation for probably about a half an hour or so, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
with between them and the Dodgers. And I mean, ultimately, we left the Dodgers at 1, and look what the Dodgers did. We also took into effect, which I think is actually a really good stat, is a run differential. So we were seeing what was the difference between runs scored and runs given up. You know, that tells you a lot during the week. So were you pitching really well, or were you hitting above average, or was your pitching down, and were you not hitting that week? So I think those two things weigh heavy for us, and as far as us doing our power rankings, and that makes it so the list doesn't fluctuate a lot. But we also see flaws in teams by doing that.
Ty.
And to piggyback on what Guru said, as far as looking at those flaws, because, when it comes to power rankings, you're only as strong as your weakest link. So you can't be the best hitting team and putting runs on the board, but yet you're showing that you have the potential to lose games because your bullpen comes in and it's just trash and almost losing games or giving up games and blowing leads. So it's a team thing. Overall, you got to factor, okay, how does this all fit together as far as to be a powerful, dominant team? Most of the teams at the top of our list last year, they were teams that were overall good clubs as a whole, not just, oh, we have a good, bat structure or a lineup or a good rotation with no bullpen. These teams, can play at all levels. Defensively, they're also good. So when we look at everything and take things seriously, you have to, so you can get that bias out of there. Even though they say I clearly have bias, but there's a reason, why I can be, proud right now, because the team I represent, backed it up last season, just saying. But all jokes aside, you have to, come with it. And, there's a lot of chairs thrown. There's a lot of, what about this? Could it be, nitpicking or, sometimes a little bit too much? But like I said, at the end of the day, if you want, the dominant team, the most powerful team, that's the mission, that's the goal, and you got to stick to the mission.
Yeah, that's a real good point, Ty. I mean, you gotta be consistent. More importantly, like what Ty was getting to, being consistent is key in staying in the power ranking. And if you're not consistent, you're gonna keep dropping, and eventually you're gonna fall out. So yeah, we definitely saw a lot of good baseball this first week, and I want to kind of hit on a couple of actually, give me a game you're gonna watch tomorrow. Ty, if you can, just come on back. Give me a game you're gonna watch tomorrow and why, and then also give me the series that you want to watch over the weekend, and then I'll give you mine once you're done.
So tomorrow, I mean, right off the bat, I'm really interested as far as that Phillies Braves game, like just so I can talk trash to Trav, honestly. So tomorrow, like that looks good to me as far as I'm probably going to catch like the end of it when I get off work. But
well, that series actually starts on Friday, so that's a 3-game series, not a 4-game set.
It's 3 games.
Yeah, it's 3 games, so it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
That sucks. That was the one I was looking forward to.
Yeah.
Just take it away from me.
Here, let me give you some series that are up this weekend or tomorrow, so that way you can give me a game you're gonna look out for. We got Marlins and the Mets start up a series. We got the Cubs and the Pirates. We got Red Sox and the Orioles. We got the D-backs.
That's what I was looking at.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good one. We got D-backs and Royals. We got Mariners, Twins, Royals, White Sox, Brewers, Cardinals, A's, Blue Jays, and Athletics, Stros.
Man, if the Athletics can make it entertaining, even though they're looking like they won't, like that would be great. That could be, it's either going to be competitive or it's going to be a total blowout and a disaster. But I'm going to stick with the Red Sox and Orioles just to see what they got. Don't sleep on the Diamondbacks and the Reds.
Yeah, the Diamondbacks and the Rockies. That's the game tomorrow. What do you You have a series in mind over the weekend as far as what you want to watch?
Yeah, like I said, series wise, like I said, that'll probably be the Red Sox and Orioles I keep my eye on, just because I want to be intrigued as far as like how that one goes. That has big implications for the AL East, which is in limbo right now. Vic Jr., where your Yankees at? So that's going to be one my eyes are going to be watching on.
Let me get the Yankees and the Rays this weekend,
I was gonna say that.
because that is one of those series where the Yankees for some reason just can't beat the Rays. I don't know what it
Still?
is. I don't know
Still,
what
even
it
this
is.
season?
Yeah, we're gonna see. Give me the Stros and the Athletics. Why I'm saying this series, it has nothing to do with my Stros team. It's more or less for the Athletics, because they have been getting their asses kicked all year. Like,
Except
I'm
tonight.
saying, it's crazy, man. This is craziness.
Y'all know what I want to see? The series that I'm looking forward to seeing, and we're talking AL.
Mm.
I want to see the Angels and Blue Jays. I
Yeah.
like that.
That was gonna be my AL pick. I
Mhm.
want to see. I want to see that series. I want to see how the Blue Jays react to playing against Trout, or, Otani and Rendon. I want to see. I told you guys I like these young guns in Toronto. They're really young, but they're really good. So I'm interested to see what they're going to do, and I'm interested to see if the Angels can continue playing the way they're playing against this young team. That's one of the series I'm interested in, and the other series I'm interested in the NL, in the AL again, is the Yankees Rays. And like Jeremy, you said, for some reason, the Yankees can't beat the Rays. Like Ty through said, they don't have Snell, they don't have Morton, they don't have a lot of their pitchers that they had last year, but I don't think that's going to matter. When you're playing in the division and you have difficulty against a team, for some reason they have your number and they play you well, you tend to lose against them. And you know as well as I do, Jerm, that when that's the case, it gets into your head. No matter who's playing on that team, it does, and it weighs on you until you win a division or you win a game. And that's just one of those. I also want to see what's going to happen in the NL, like Type Through said, regarding Phillies and Braves, because the Phillies right now are hot. Yeah, they've been at home. The first six games are at home, and they swept the Braves the first series, but they got to go to Atlanta now. Let's see what happens in Atlanta, and as we've seen, the Phillies aren't that good on the road as they are at home. So let's see what happens.
This is going to be a very interesting weekend, like I said, too, because by the time we come back on Sunday, we'll probably be discussing some things from the series from the weekends. But the biggest thing here, fellas, man, we have some very, very intriguing things going on with some of these top tier teams. The A's were one of the four or five teams in baseball last year that we were saying, hey, they actually look decent this season. This could be a year that they can make a push. Mm-hmm. They've started out now 1 of 6. They just lost today. They just won again for the first time today.
Yep.
And they beat the Dodgers because the Dodgers like to leave runners.
Too. Damn them. Shut up.
You'll be all right. So, at the end of the day, I guess, that's LA's way of saying even a garbage can't get a steak. But at the end of the day, I got to be honest with you. I'm not impressed by this Oakland A's team. I don't know. They're not hitting very well. They're not doing it on the bases very well. It's a lot. It's a lot. So let's see what happens.
It's been going on years now. I mean, we talked about it last year when the A's were playing. Was it the Rays? I think in the playoffs, and we were like, "Can you really trust the A's?" And we went around the room and we all said, "What? No, you can't." So it's not the first year. It's been going on years now that they have potential, but do they live up to it? It's that easy. And kind of getting to some scores right now that are games that are going on. The Orioles are still on top of the Yankees in the 8th inning, 2-1. And then the Diamondbacks and Rockies just kicked off during the 2nd inning. Rockies are beating the Diamondbacks 1-0.
So as we get ready to wrap up here, fellas, any final thoughts on anything for today? Any final thoughts on any news or anything like that?
Yeah, I want to shout out, and if you guys follow us on the page, I put up a picture of Tatis going down with a shoulder injury, man. You hate seeing that. Unfortunately for Tatis, he's one of the dynamic players that gets often injured. He's only been in the league 3 years, and he's been hurt every year. You don't like to see it. You don't want to see it. Hopefully he recovers. They're saying right now that he's going to rehab. He's going to rest and then rehab. Hopefully he's able to come back better than what he was before. It's just scary seeing the follow through and then him going down in pain in the shoulder. This is not the first time he has an injury with his shoulder, and hopefully it is the last though. Hopefully it doesn't come back. Tatis, get better, man. Hopefully, like I said, you get back on the field and to be that dynamic player you are.
Absolutely. Ty, any final thoughts?
Yes, just that, Jerm and I are the only ones that can celebrate, opening day weekend. That's shots fired at, I'll throw Storms in there too, category, and Mr. West can, celebrate opening day weekend while Trav and Guru over there have tears. But happy to see baseball is back. Happy to see a full season. I've already seen some impressive individual performances, impressive team performances. Shout out to Ryan McMahon with 3 home runs in one game. Like, he went 3 for 3 with them. Like, that was pretty big. Shane Bieber throwing 12 Ks. So it's nice to see, that people are getting, what they want and, just dominating, whether it be, Trout coming up at his first at bat, going yard, or, some new cats, leading the league, with RBIs or unexpected names. And this is going to be an exciting season, I feel. So play ball. The Dish is here. Follow us and like us, on Instagram and Twitter. Make sure you subscribe to the scene because you don't want to miss when we go live and, go at each other's throats. And sometime, multiple times this season, I'm going to throw a chair and me and Jerem going to fight. That's all I got to say.
Well, I mean, he liked to get knocked down and then get back up again, I guess. That's all. But it would happen, he's never going to keep him down. But wow, he even got music references when he be talking. But the beautiful thing about this that makes this so great is that it's just so much good baseball that goes on, and we try to make sure we cover it all as much as possible here because it's easy to talk about the hot teams, but let's talk about some teams that need to be discussed. And that's going to be some things that we're going to continue to try to do all season moving forward. The Dish Scene, that's Twitter and on Instagram. You can check us out and follow there. Make sure that you guys also do The Scene, of course. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. It will be in the link for the comments down below. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your auntie, uncles, all them. We it's a family affair in my Mary J. Blige voice. That being said, Guru, Category 5, Trav, Tie Through, Mr. True himself, we out, y'all. See y'all next time.